Picture yourself watching an incredible fight scene. Aang vs Ozai, Rengoku vs Akaza, or maybe Yuji against Mahito. The anticipation, the adrenaline, and the sheer excitement of witnessing two powerful characters clash. But have you ever wondered what makes certain fight scenes so memorable and captivating? Because I have recently watched Jigokuraku, great anime by the way, and I thought about fight scenes and more importantly, why was I so hyped watching Gabimaru fight Tensen and what separated it from other animated fights that I have watched? Was it the great animation where we could feel every punch have an impact? But there are other animes that have probably even better animation. So maybe it was the background music that helped elevate the scene even further. Or was it the motives and story behind the scene? And everything that led up to this fight happening. Or maybe even the villain seemingly impossible to defeat, being the most powerful being in the existence. The answer is obviously all of the above, and it can be said about every other anime or a movie. For example, every fight with the upper moon in Demon Slayer is something that I can't ignore. The same goes for Jujutsu Kaisen and fights with special class spirit. So now let me talk about what makes a good fight scene feel amazing. Some people will say that great animation is the key, but there have been a lot of examples that animation is not everything. For example, God of High School anime had some very beautifully animated scenes, but they were very forgettable. And on the other hand, there were some amazing fights where there is little to no animation, like Jojo's gambling scene where we could feel the tension rising with every move. So what separates the God of High School from Jojo's? Stakes. In God of High School everything was happening too fast. They tried to pack as many chapters of manhwa in as few episodes as possible. And in result, we got some characters that I couldn't make myself to care about. But then when I have read the manhwa, I just couldn't stop reading because I had to see what happens to the characters that I was so invested in. And this is why Jojo's gambling scene is far superior. We get to know our characters for a whole season, hell, even for a few seasons, and then we see that their enemy has a very powerful stand and already poses a serious threat by taking down some characters. So when the final duel between Jotaro and Darby is at its peak, we share similar emotions to our heroes. We are worried for them and we root for them to win. And the same works for Gabimaru vs Tensen, because we see Gabimaru being seriously injured and we already saw that the enemy took down other important characters, and this is one of few things that makes the scene shine. But now let me dial back a bit. As we pointed out one thing that is important, let's focus on another one. Animation.
But Kulo, you're saying that animation doesn't matter.
Shh, baby girl, it's all good. I know that I said this, but I know that we all love to see amazingly animated scenes. There is a reason why when every time a new Demon Slayer season comes out, everyone is freaking out about how amazing the new battle looks. When we watch someone fight someone else, it must feel real in some way. The punches must carry some kind of force, and we as viewers can experience it only by animation and sound effects. And this is another very important and pretty obvious factor that makes a good scene shine. Now, what would you say about music? And I don't care about what you listen to, but more about the background stuff that plays during the fight. And once again, let me use Jigokuraku as an example, because I have already downloaded this fight. During fight between Gabimaru and Tensen, I had goosebumps on my skin. And it is only because of how animation, the dialogue and music worked together. Every time I have heard this, I could feel the dread and danger coming from the adversary. Without it, this fight wouldn't be so memorable. And there are tons and tons of examples. Demon Slayer once again with its amazing music. Jujutsu with its very atmospheric and eerie sounds. Or even the newest Spider-Man with its spot theme. Music is just very, very important. And for last I saved the story, dialogue and background to the fight. I mean, I brushed this subject a little bit while talking about Jotaro vs Darby, but now let me go deeper. Would anyone of you care if you saw some randoms fight each other? Probably not, you would just walk away because this is none of your business. Of course, two menels fighting on your way to school is an exception, but for us to care about the fight, we must care about the fighters. If our main character is fighting some no-name, it's just It can look cool, but when we know nothing about the opponent, it just doesn't carry the same weight. But when we see an already established powerful enemy fight our main character, we just can't help but get invested. Will he survive? Will he defeat him? What will happen if he doesn't? This question will pop up in our head while watching good fight scenes with interesting characters and villains. And as my last example, I will use Avatar. And to be more precise, Aang vs Ozai. Two very important characters, the main villain and the main hero of this show. Ozai was already established as this mysterious, very powerful firebender, but to add to that, he got his powers multiplied by the comet. Oh boy, it's going to be tough for Aang. How could someone not love this scene? Or what about Mahito vs Yuji? As we see him enraged on Mahito, making a decision to take a life this night. Wrapping up our discussion, we have explored the key ingredients that make fight scenes truly amazing. From jaw-dropping animation that brings the punches to life, to the power of music that intensifies the emotions, every element plays a crucial role. However, it's the combination of a compelling story, well-developed characters, and a formidable antagonist that truly elevates a fight scene to greatness. Remember, it's when we become emotionally invested in the outcome that these battles leave a lasting impact. So the next time you find yourself immersed in thrilling fight, appreciate the artistry behind it. Let me know in the comments which fight scenes have left you speechless, and thank you for watching, subscribe and leave a like. Please, bye bye.